welcome to the fall 2022 edition of Take Back Our Kitchens, the political economy of food, studying food systems and foodways from an intersectional feminist gender studies lens. I am Dr. Kim McKegg, and I am super happy to be your guide for this journey, this adventure that we're going to undertake together this semester. It's always a wonderful, wonderful time, and I learned so much from you, and we all learn together, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Here I am in yet another kitchen. If you look at some of the previous videos from earlier classes, you're going to see me go from a Minnesota kitchen to a Maine kitchen, and now I'm in a Massachusetts kitchen. I'm in Greenfield, Massachusetts. I've been here for almost a year now. So I'm about as close to Southern as I've ever been when I've taught this course, and I might actually get to see you sometime. But here I am, and here over my shoulder is a Nanki, obviously thinking I need supervision doing this. The stove is not on, so she's safe. I like to talk a little bit about the context of the times when we're doing the course, and of course, last time we were in the depths of early COVID and things were just in chaos. There was food shortages on the shelves and people were in isolation, and you know, things were pretty dire in many ways. And now things have eased up a bit. Mostly I see people not even wearing masks at the grocery stores, for example. And for the most part, food supplies are much more reliable. You know, but I think things can change over the course of the fall, especially as it gets colder. So we still need to be aware of all of that. And I think there is a real COVID fatigue that people are experiencing because it's been a lot of stress and difficulty for a long time. We're going to couple that with the inflationary period that we're in, and inflation definitely influences food, both in terms of fuel costs and resource costs for producing food and labor costs to process it, as well as you know, the actual retail prices that you pay at the shelf, which is definitely difficult for some people, for many people. And so there's that context in addition to the pandemic. We also are having a war in the Ukraine, which is going into like month 7 now. And the Ukraine is a large food producing region of the world. So that's having global food repercussions, especially in Eastern Europe and Africa in particular. So I'm sure we'll touch on that at some point when we think about what's happening globally. And then the other thing that I do want to note is the last time I did this course, we were just past the murder of George Floyd, and race and racism were at the forefront of much of our thinking. And I put a lot of resources into the course that were new, that were related to race and food, in particular, Black populations. So we're so not past those issues at all. And I think it is very valid to continue our focus of the impact racially and differentially in our food systems, especially on Black and Indigenous populations. So I'm keeping that focus, I'm keeping those resources in the course. And I think that it's quite valid and important for us to continue to be thinking in those areas. So I wanted to let you know about that. As I mentioned, because of the shifting sands of COVID from month to month, I do realize that it can become difficult to do some things in the course, you know, that especially may require going and visiting places where you're going to be inside with people, depending on restrictions in your area. You know, for a while it was hard to go visit farmers markets because they shut down before everybody decided that it was okay to have them outside, and they started up again. And, you know, so if things come along that we want to try to do that are difficult because of COVID or something, you know, we'll shift and we'll manage to cope with it. So don't worry about that. most of the things like that are something among options, or they're optional. So I very much want to stress there are core materials in the course that I do expect everybody to use and comment on and process and think about and incorporate. But there is a vast, huge array beyond that of things that are optional. Almost always, when there are discussion prompts, there are options for you to choose from. If there are films to look at, there are usually options for you to choose from. Many of the readings are optional, so every module you'll see there are required things, but then there are all these options. I really don't expect you to get to all the options unless you have no life. If you are not working, not caring for anybody, not taking any other courses, and all of your 24 hours of every day are completely free, and maybe you don't need to sleep, you might get to all of them. But that's not the goal. The goal is to provide you with a menu of things to encounter so that you can make the course a little bit more your own. Not everybody's going to be equally interested in everything, and that's fine. You don't have to be. This is a huge topic. It goes well beyond even what I've put into this course. And part of being a graduate student is learning to access things that are meaningful and important and interesting to you, and to let the rest go judiciously. It can be very hard. And so I really want you to take to heart that I don't expect you to do everything, and I'll be a little worried about you if you really try to do that. Don't. Consider many things optional. In particular, there are some things that accessing them will require buying, like subscribing to a paid service like Hulu or Netflix or something like that for videos. I absolutely do not expect you to do that. Okay, if you already subscribe to one, great. Get what you can get on that. See what you can get at the library that you can borrow or interlibrary loan. But do not go out and spend a bunch of money on extra books or spend a bunch of money on subscription services or anything for the purpose of this course, unless you just want to, but I don't expect you to, all right? So don't feel like you need to do that. I want you to feel free to get in touch with me as needed. And it's always a transition for me to remember to look at my Southern email regularly, so I need to start doing that. And make that part of my daily routine. So I'm getting there with that. And if you need to chat or something, if there's an office hour coming up, then I'm going to encourage you to let me know you want to come to office hours, and we'll chat over Zoom then. And if that doesn't work, then we can at least arrange a phone chat at some point, and maybe a Zoom, depending on scheduling parameters and things like that. So keep in touch with me. I'm very open, and I want to hear from you. So don't feel shy at all about contacting me. I hope you have a great semester. I'm trying to keep this relatively short because I've learned shorter is better on videos. But if you want to ask me anything about my kitchen or my cooking or anything like that, we'll be sharing recipes and things. Really, please feel free. I want to get to know you, and I want you to have the chance to get to know me. I am an alum of the program. I'm a proud student graduate. And I'm always so happy to come back to what I consider to be my true home village, which is the Women and Gender Studies at Southern. So welcome, and I hope to see you soon. Have a great semester.